As you know, the COVID-19 pandemic brought about many challenges, as well as the families we serve. The social service department here implements basic needs programs such as food, utilities, housing, and I needed to find a way to continue these services without disruption to the community we serve. Some of my services and programs were a lot easier to transition, such as food bank. We went from a choice pantry right into a drive-up delivery model. Another one was our tax program, where we just went into a drop-off method and, spoke to people and clients over the phone. So that was simple. However, LIHEAP, housing, there was different requirements from the state and our funders that made it a little more difficult to transition over to a different model. I remember being at a state meeting with DHS and discussing, or the Department of Human Services, and discussing with the chief of LIHEAP program about the CARES funding and how it was going to roll down, and it could potentially help agencies with capacity so that we could deliver services a little bit more seamlessly. Excuse me, I'm super nervous. And that didn't help. So I did discuss with her, as I began to think about how we could do this, I started to think about ways that people now apply for things and, how you apply for credit cards and loans. And, a lot of people were moving to online applications. So I began to think about that in my head and how I would begin to even implement such a thing. And I decided I would go to the vice president of IT within our agency and kind of propose this idea to him to see if it was even feasible. And he thought that it was. However, as you know, when you're rolling out new programs in technology and software, it does take some time. And when we first started with the pandemic, we thought maybe we were looking at a week, 2 weeks, a month. However, a month turned into 6 and 6 turned into a year. So I was trying to prepare for that potentially happening. We decided to bring the proposal to Falsimus, who provides already a data warehouse for many of the CAP agencies and a frontline entry service, and see if at all it would be possible for them to do this in a timely fashion. So to develop actually an online portal in a timely fashion. And they, after discussing it with them and discussing funding, I decided to then take this idea to the Department of Human Services and the LIHEAP chief to see if I could apply for funding through the CARES Act to be able to implement this online portal. And we went from there. And so the portal went live in June of 2020, which was really quick. So we rolled it out and it started with just CCAP. And as you can see, you're seeing the first page to applying for the applying on the online portal. So this is how a client would go in and begin to start the application procedure. As you go through, they were faced with a pre-screened set of questions so that we could determine what program they were applying for. We started with the LIHEAP and quickly moved into developing a housing application. With a pre-screened set of questions, it would move them into the appropriate program for the service they are inquiring about. In other words, if they were over income for the low income home energy assistance program, it would then move them to a good neighbor energy fund. Or if they were not eligible for one housing program, based off of the questions, it would move them into a different application. So we started to work with that. I was made aware of people going in and applying and creating applications from an email that I would receive through Kodak or through Falsimus, which told me, I don't know if you can see that now, that somebody has applied, and I could then go into the system and see exactly what they have done. The system gave the consumer the ability to apply for benefits, upload documents, electronically sign, and complete an application as if they were just here doing it themselves. And so there were obviously a lot of, when you develop a new system, there are some, tweaks that have to be done and made. And so we began to discuss, client satisfaction with the consumers using it and what they felt was working and what they felt could be improved on. And we were constantly taking that back to Falsimus so that they could tweak the program and make it easier or more user-friendly for our consumers. Once, and that continues to this very day. Once we developed it for CCAP, we then decided to roll it out to the entire community action network within our state. And as of right now, 7 different community action agencies are currently using the online portal. We have had a number of applications made. As a matter of fact, total statewide applications through this portal have been 8,901. 33 different program applications are defined within this portal, 20 of which are non-LIHEAP. Again, all agencies have now begin to use this. So it has been definitely, helped with meeting an agency need, a family need, and a community need. And I think it was a pretty big success. So I can speak more in the breakout room, and you can ask me some questions there. If you have a couple of questions, that would be fine.